free agency class is in session. This is not a 101 course. We're looking for grad school analysis on how to price a specific corner of the market and what are the current key performance indicators that front offices are using to make these decisions. We're delving into a group that's loaded with volume this offseason. It's relief pitching, specifically right-handers. So we're going to have Ken and Joel put their GM hats on to help us run through some exercises. First two are similar, and this will help us talk out how these free agent decisions are being made on right-handed relievers. So let's start at the top. Liam Hendriks should be cashing in more than any other reliever on the market. He's been a dominant force at the back end of the bullpen for the past couple years, but we found a decent comp to throw next to him. How much separation is there between Hendriks and Trevor Rosenthal? Hendriks has the edge statistically in 2020, not by much except for one category. The biggest difference by far, the walk percentage. You can see the 3 number versus the 8. Hendriks' rate is pristine. And that department's always been an issue for Trevor Rosenthal. He was all over the place in 2019, but that was his first season coming back from Tommy John surgery. Rosenthal was a stud in 2020 with a couple teams. They traded him to the Padres midseason from Kansas City. He latched on to that trend, too. Pitchers dropping their fastball usage, mixing in his slider more frequently with big success. It's not crazy to think his command's going to continue to sharpen another year past the surgery, and it's not like this season came out of the blue for him either. He's had some successful years before the Tommy John surgery. So, when we're comparing these two, Rosenthal does grab a point in my mind over Hendriks for being younger, significantly less mileage on the arm at the major league level. 516 for Hendriks, 364 for Rosenthal. You can slice that in a couple different ways. When it comes to pitching, I'm usually taking the lower career innings total as long as the guy's not been hurt every single year that he's been around. Not saying Rosenthal should out-earn Hendriks. I don't think he should be making half as much in this market. So, Joel, I'll start with you, and then Ken, you can take it from there. In a team in a vacuum with the ability to utilize the saved money for other assets, would you take Liam Hendriks for 3 years, $40 million, or Trevor Rosenthal at 2 years, $16 million?
You're going to hate my answer. I just saved money for all those other things. I mean, Liam Hendriks has been DFA'd 4 times in his career, as recently as 2018. You mentioned being all over the place with the ball with Rosenthal. How about all over the place in 2019? 3 organizations, waived from one, released from another. This is the area, unless you're like great consistent, I don't want to spend money. You put a gun to my head, I take Hendriks because I don't like when relievers walk people. But I just think this is the wrong time to go to the top of the market if it's going to cost you years and dollars.
Totally agree. And initially we had a discussion on the show a few weeks back about the qualifying offer. And I said the A's, they should have given it to Liam Hendriks. Of course, they can't afford to do that. But at the same time, the reason I said that was 1 year. Give me the shortest length possible on these reliever contracts. Trevor Rosenthal at 2 years, even with the high walk rate, I'll take that over Liam at 3.
Okay, perfect. So, yeah, a much cheaper value there with Rosenthal, but that's why we do this exercise. Let's do one more, and then I've got something crazy at the end. Head-to-head reliever matchup, okay? Alex Colomé, career year in 2020, from the microscopic ERA under 1 to the 22 innings of homerless baseball. Super contributor to the White Sox bullpen. He's going to turn that into a healthy deal. Then there's Keone Kela, coming off a lost season in 2020, logged 2 innings, then a forearm injury held him back. So we'll comp his 2019, which also included injuries. Yes, a higher ERA, higher fielding independent pitching, walk rate similar to Colomé. He's on another level in the strikeout department. The stuff's there for Kela. It's been there, but there's baggage. Colomé, much more of a sure thing. His style's much more contact-oriented, and he's actually embraced it. He's become a master at avoiding barrels. He's made that his identity by primarily unleashing the cutter. So, Ken, I'll give you 2 options here. Alex Colomé, 2 years, $7 million per season, so 2 years at 14. Or do you take a flyer on Keone Kela, 1 year, $4 million, and then use that money elsewhere?
All right, I take back everything I just said in the previous comparison. I take Colomé every day of the week. Why? One reason is health. Kela has been on the injured list 6 times in his career. Last year, again, had some issues. While Colomé has not been on the IL since 2016, he had a great year last year and was really good the 2 years before that as well. 2.93 ERA combined. Plus Kela's occasional off-field issues, the altercation with the Pirates club official in 19 and in 17. He got demoted because the Rangers didn't like the way he was acting in a B game. Colomé.
Yeah, ding, ding, ding. You have damaged personality, damaged goods a little bit in Kela. In Colomé, at least I have a history of durability and late game success. But again, you're going to hate me Scott. I'm punting.
You're out. Option C, none of the above. Okay, Joel, I'm going to force you to participate. Ready? Those were warm-up exercises.
He'll participate, but he doesn't have to sign any of these guys.
No, he doesn't have to, but I'm going to make him rank these 4, okay? Your final project, keep in mind, the explanation of your answer is very important because we're looking for inside info on how teams are determining their wish list. Like, what are the separators? So, 4 relievers we have categorized in a similar tier. You have 1 2-year contract to hand out. Let's say it's $14 million, which is close to what the Mets gave Trevor May. We just talked about it. Rank your wish list and how you got there. Joel, you go first. You have to buy one of these 4 relievers with your 2 and 14 mil. Your owner is directing you. Joel, you have 2 years, 14 mil. Go get one of these 4. Pick them for us.
Do you have a return policy on these gifts?
I do not. They're guaranteed contracts.
So I guess I would go like this. I would say Treinen 1 because I think if you're telling me I have to gamble a 2-year contract, I'm going to go to the person I think has the highest upside. I think Bradley has the second highest upside. I think Shane Green has the greatest consistency. I don't think it will ever be great, but I think there's a lot there on durability and above average pitching, so I'd go him third. And to me, Bass just hasn't done it long enough. You know, again, if you want to start going through the release designated for assignment list, Bass is going to be on that pretty much every year for the last 4 or 5 years someplace. So do I believe in that heavy ground ball rate he's started to produce? I don't know. I'm punting. But if you that would be my order if I can't punt.
I'll go exactly the same order, but for a little bit different reasons. And one, Treinen to me, we saw it in the World Series. This is a guy who's done it and done it at a high level. Closer for Oakland, pitched in huge leverage roles for the Dodgers, and also relatively lightly used in his career, about 775 innings, majors and minors. Hendricks and Brad Hand, they're over 1,300. So Treinen is a relatively, I say relatively, fresh arm. Bradley I like because he's the youngest, and he's performed pretty well over the last couple of years. He's 28 years old going into that season. The others are all in their low 30s. And then Shane Green, I'm with Joel on this. Consistent, not great, but steady. You can trust him. And Bass, I'm intrigued by him, what he's done in his career, and like a James McCann, maybe now he's figuring it out, but the least proven of the 4.
Good, I enjoyed that. And I'm a positive person. I can take what Joel's bringing to the table. I think some of the relievers at home are going, thank goodness that Joel Sherman's not a GM because he's not paying me. That's for sure.
Did we see the American League champions play this year?
We did.
Yeah.
They developed their own.
Any big contracts there in their bullpen that I missed?
But the Rays are special. That's unique.
Okay.
Hey,
my job is to be special and do this well.
Right. you would manage a low budget well. There are teams that spend big on relievers, and there are often horror stories, so I get it.